CJ Peterson, and welcome to The Journey is Real. We talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. Today, our guest is JoJami Tyler. JoJami is going to be talking about her passion, which is, we've titled it Ladies Roadmap Lifestyle Journal. And it's more about the journal, I believe, is what her passion is, and the lifestyle changes that come with it. Thank you for joining us today, JoJami.
Thank you for having me, CJ. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming on. Would you mind explaining to people what the Ladies Roadmap Lifestyle Journal actually is?
Absolutely. So I have a business partner named Lana, and we also have a podcast called Ladies Roadmap. And we started this about 2 years ago because we are both women in our 50s. Actually, we're almost getting to 60 now. And we decided that there was a lot of changes going on in our lives, and that we thought we would start a conversation for women in that time period, because we're empty nesters, we're getting divorced, we're changing jobs, we're quitting jobs, we're becoming retired. A lot of different changes are happening. So we started this podcast, and as we were chatting to other women who were having inspirational stories of reinvention, my partner and I realized that we needed a tool to help people to actually make change. So that's where the Ladies Roadmap to Lifestyle Journal came about.
So what exactly is in it?
It is a workbook. It's a prompt. It's not just plain journal pages. We actually have a lot of pages in it where we ask you questions to start thinking a lot of deep thoughts. For instance, what are your dreams and desires? Just a place to really notate anything that's coming in your head that maybe you're rolling around in your head, that you're thinking of ideas, but you haven't written them down. You know, it's a funny thing. My partner and I, we were at dinner one night, and we were walking down the hall, and we saw a beautiful display of journals and books. And on the display, it said, "The power of the pen. It's your story. Write it down." Mm-hmm. And that just sort of summarized what we were like. That's it. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because if you don't put that pen on the paper, you can try to type it for some reason. I don't know if you know this. Scientifically, there's something about putting the pen on the paper that actually makes things much more powerful. So have you ever journaled, CJ?
Yeah, I was actually a counselor for several years. And as a counselor, one of the first things we do when we sit down with them was we put 3 lines on a paper. And we have them tell us different memories that they've had. And we actually plan it out chronologically on the paper. And when they actually take a look at it, because, you know, as a counselor, you're just a guide. And I would show that to them, and that you could actually see patterns pop up that you might not be able to see unless it was pen to paper.
That's exactly right. The other thing is, you know, things go out of your mind, especially at this age.
That's what I have. I have a Post-it note thing on my phone. That very, very reason. Anytime something pops up in my brain, I put it in there.
It's so smart to do it. And the third thing is actually right now with the pandemic. This is historical. This is a historical time of our lives, and it has been stressful for people. And this has been our ladies have come back to us so much saying, you know, we just loved having this gratitude page, putting down our dreams and desires, thinking about deeper thoughts, and just having a place to put these thoughts during this time and document it. Because who knows, we could come back in 10 years from now and think, we really made it through. How did we do it? And now you have a documentation of it. It's just fun to document your life, I think, no matter what.
Well, you mentioned you have a podcast and you have the journal. How did you two ladies actually come up with the entire concept of the whole thing?
Thank you for asking. So my partner and I have been dear, dear friends for over 30 years. We actually met when our babies were just 6 months old. We both had little babies, and we were both at-home moms at the time. And over those 30 years, as you can imagine, my partner actually ended up becoming an interior designer and becoming a very successful businesswoman. I ended up becoming an image consultant, and I had my own business for 20 years. I actually had a fashion blog called Fabulous After 40.
Oh, nice. I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yes. Yeah, I keep having to inch up the years, but anyway, we do march on.
You earned every single one of those years. I mean, there's a person I was talking to a while ago, and I'm like, I'm 48, but I own and I earned every single one of those 48 years. They made me who I am today.
It sure has. And your point to that point, once again, how wonderful to be able to document your growth and your challenges. We actually have something in the journal that we call we have you write down whenever you're journaling. It's called "What are your roadblocks?" And so you put down your roadblocks, but then we say, what are your roadblock solutions? And it's so funny when you reframe that. We can all sit around and complain and say, oh, this has happened to me, or, I've got this happening in my life. But yet, when you stop and say, but wait a minute, how can you solve that problem? Think about it. Talk to a friend, brainstorm it a little bit. All of a sudden, it doesn't become such a roadblock anymore.
Yeah, I used to be a youth leader. I was youth leader for about 18 years. And a lot of the kids would come to me with an issue and complain and be like, this is happening, or I don't know what to do about this, or this happens. You need to change this. You need to change that. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to come to me, you need to come with me with a complaint and 3 solutions.
What? That was so good.
Do not come to me with a complaint unless you've got 3 solutions that are going to go with it.
I actually heard that exact thing to do in work. If you go to work and you go to your boss and you say, something's happening, you better come with a solution. That is a rule. I think that's something that if people have not heard of that before, it is such a helpful tool in life, because then you're a problem solver. You're not just a problem.
Exactly.
You're just not a tattletale.
Well, it's in essence, it's kind of rewiring your brain, because negativity, people can tend to cling on to negativity and all the negative emotions, but you kind of gotta, especially with like the news and stuff, because they're always hammering you, and it's like you gotta spin that around, and you gotta rewire your brain to think positive. Not every day is good, but there's something good in every day.
Right, and that is where your gratitude comes in. And you starting your day with gratitude and ending it with gratitude, you're just going to be a better person for that. One more thing to go back to what's in the journal. I've actually been somebody that's journaled my whole life, like for the last 30 years. I really love to journal. I used to just get blank pieces of blank books to journal in. And I had a friend of mine about 15 years ago. She and I decided that every New Year's Eve we were going to make a date and we were going to review our year. And we just thought, okay, let's review our year. So the first year we went to do it, it was horrible. We were so unorganized. We were like, I don't remember. I have a few dates and things written down, but I don't remember. So then the next year we're like, okay, we're going to be organized about this. And so every month we would stop and write down all the things every month that would happen to us that we were proud of, or fun things, so that the next time we met the next year, we were much more organized. So in our Ladies Roadmap Lifestyle Journal, we put in something called our monthly, it's just a page where it has a bunch of little circles in it that you can every month put in as you go along all the things that happen to you. And at the end of the year, you might not believe it, but I am telling you, you will be shocked at how much you've accomplished, how many things you've done, and what a great year you've had. You just don't remember it if you don't write it down. So to have it organized in your book every month, and at the end of the year, you have this beautiful book filled with these milestones that you've had, it was one of the things that I made sure to put in the book, that I think is an unusual, something that's not in normal journals that I've had. And then to have an accountability partner that at the end of the year, you guys are going to get together and recap your year. It takes us about 2 hours, but we've been doing it religiously for 15 years. And it is one of my highlights of my year. And every year I think the same thing. I'm going to go do this again. I wrote it in my journal, but I think, it was an okay year. And then at the end of the 2 hours, we're like, wow, we really did a lot.
Yeah. What we do is, photography is one of my passions, I guess you could say, one of my hobbies, one of the fun things I love to do. Each year we have a photo book. So it's kind of the same idea, only I do it in pictures.
Love that. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing I was going to say. I'm so glad you brought that up. So if you're doing it with pictures, that's actually, it's a wonderful way of doing it, because you can really visually remember things when you see pictures. It's nice probably to write it down too, so that you have your thoughts and your ideas behind it. But the other thing is, there's a lot of different ways to journal. So some people they get overwhelmed with the thought of having to write something every day. What am I going to write? There's something called a bullet. writing in bullet points. So you can take this journal and just write a little bullet point. Today I had a good day today. I saw a rainbow today. Oh, one more thing we do in our journal is we have you be conscious of your MUM. Your MUM is your most unusual moment.
Okay.
And it's so fun because if you are conscious, once you do it at the end of the day, you're like, okay, what's my most unusual moment? And you go, oh, I saw a hummingbird today, or I saw a rainbow, or someone helped me with my groceries at the grocery store today. Just something nice. Then you have it top of mind to look for it every day. And then all of a sudden now you're seeing them, and then you're acknowledging them, and they just start flowing in. So that's another fun thing we do in our journal.
Does your journal cover the entire year, or is it?
It's a good question. We actually ended up making it into two journals. We have a 6-month journal. So it's January through June, and then so July through December.
Okay.
And that's because otherwise it just got too bulky, and we wanted it to be something that you could take with you. It's a beautifully made, high quality spiral bound journal, so that it lays flat when you write on it, with high quality paper, so the pen flows lovely on it, with some color pictures in it. We have a lot of drawings. We had artists come on board and do some cute pictures for us. And so it's an adorable journal. You'll have to come.
How much are the journals?
They're $29.99, but for your listeners, for the Journey is Real listeners, we have a coupon, and it's
awesome.
The word roadmap 10, all capital letters, roadmap 10, and we'll give you 10% off and free shipping. So
thank you. That's awesome.
Yes.
So you guys can get your journals. You just have to put in roadmap 10, and then you get 10%
off and free shipping.
Where do they find it?
Yes, they can come to our website. It's Ladies Roadmap. It's ladiesroadmap.com, LADIES, roadmap, ROADMAP.com.
So that's always a test for people that I interview. It's like sometimes I catch them and sometimes I'm not able to tell them fast enough. So then they got to think, okay, how does that spell that?
I know. I'm not a good speller. So
that's always my favorite test, is like, can you spell your website?
Yeah, we thought our name was a bit long, but it's what it is. So,
and that's the name of the journal, though, and that will help kind of stick into people's minds, especially ladies. And it's specifically, if I'm following you correctly, specifically targeting women who are at that change of life stage and kind of starting to reinvent. They've got, empty nest, or if they haven't had any children, it's kind of like reevaluating, okay, I'm at this point, what do I do from here?
It seems to me one of the things about women in midlife, and that can be from 40, 35, 40 on, you really feel like, okay, the time is ticking. I want to make a difference. I mean, not everybody has to have a big difference that they make, but you just want to have a legacy of some sort, and you want to have a purpose. And I feel that just stopping every day, or a couple times a week, whichever, you can make this your own. You can do it as much or as little as you want, but just stopping every day and making it your own and writing these things down, we've been having so much feedback from everybody that they're just loving it. But that's what it's for. It's for anybody that in a transition. I mean, I've had women give this to their daughters, because we can be in transition at any time in our life.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's transition, say somebody got divorced in their, high 20s, low 30s.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to be midlife. It's
right.
You're at a turning point in your life, and you're at the fork in the road, and you're spinning. Where do you go from here?
Right. And I think we did this because we wanted to niche it at some point, but the more that we've been out there, we are realizing that everybody can use it. It's really something for everybody, but specifically,
so men and women, or is it more targeted?
I'm going to say it's definitely more for women, only because of the drawings on it are so cute. They're mostly women. So I would say definitely is for women.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. Well, do you have a few minutes left? Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes. Well, I just want to thank you, number one, for having me on, and I thank all your listeners. I'm sure they are very appreciative that you're spreading the word like you are, and inspiring people to keep growing and keep learning. I think the podcast platform is a phenomenal platform for us to keep learning and growing, and that's really what my mission is in life. I don't want to stop learning, and I've learned so much just by listening to podcasts like yours.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the women we've had on our show have been quite inspiring in that life doesn't stop. I think that 50 is the new 30. We're vibrant. I'm
60 is the new 30.
yeah, 60 is. I mean, I'm actually 60, and I'm feeling younger than ever, and I'm healthy. I exercise, I move, I eat right, and I keep my mind going. And I think this is all what this is all about, is keeping our minds, and we got to keep our bodies moving too.
And I think it's more a matter of, we've all been given a certain amount of time, and it's what are we doing with that time? And from what I'm understanding, because I haven't seen it yet, this journal kind of helps you center in on what exactly it is. So it's more like you're managing your time instead of your time managing you.
Very, very good. And having some depth. I actually got out of my fashion blog because there's nothing wrong with fashion, and I love it. It was my livelihood for many years. But I started thinking, there's a little bit more to life than just, picking out what you're going to wear today, or being obsessed over, going through Pinterest and all that. And I think that being now that I've been interviewing other women and hearing what they're doing, one of the most interesting guests I think we had on was a woman that was the first woman to summit Mount Everest on both sides.
Wow.
In her 40s.
Wow.
And it's just, we had Elon Musk's mother on the other day, and she raised, we all know Elon Musk, but we don't, she has two other children that are all dynamic children, and it's because she really inspired them. She was the role model for these kids for what hard work looked like, how not to be afraid to change. I'd love to talk about that. Change, this is a big word.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard for so many people, and as we age, it just seems to get harder and harder. And I feel that if we could,
afraid of it.
they are afraid of it. If I could leave anybody with any message, that would be embrace change.
Mm-hmm.
As Eleanor Roosevelt said, do something that scares you every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I don't know if that's actually the exact words that she used, but that idea I like to keep in the back of my head anytime that I think to myself, oh, I don't feel like it, or it's just easy in life today. We got it easy. We can sit on the couch and we can watch TV or thumb through social media, but instead you can say, you know what, I'm going to go pick up that book and read it instead of watching TV, or I'm going to go to the pool and some laps instead of just sitting around. So, or if something happens to you and that you can't even control, and you're all upset about it because there's going to be a lot of change involved, you have to say, hey, I'm going to embrace the change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be afraid of it.
Yeah. I started the Journey is Real because I wanted people to have options, choices, see what other people are doing to make a difference in other people's lives. And the Journey is Real touches on a lot of people's passions and what makes them that passion, and what the journey brought them to get to that passion. With you guys' journal, is your passion is helping people change and refocus and repurpose their life. And I think that is amazing. And I really, really want to applaud you guys for that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, I tell you, the funniest part was just starting a podcast at our age. Technology is not my strong suit, and it was quite challenging. And my son, thank goodness, is a music producer, so he was on the phone with us quite a bit when we first started. And it was we wanted to pull our hair out and run to the hills with our hair on fire half the time and just throw it away because it was so hard. But we've persevered, and that's another word that when you have a mountain to climb, it's just one step in front of the other. It's when the elephant's in the room, you just eat it one bite at a time. I don't like that analogy, but
actually, I use that one all the time. But my other favorite one is a Yoda quote: "Do or do not, there is no try."
There you go. Yeah, so that's what I hope. Here we are. If I can do it, believe me, anybody can do it. And it's been a really fun journey, and it's having the opportunity to meet women like yourself and other women that are out there doing these scary we right now, you and I, we're spending our time talking to each other and inspiring others when everybody can be doing that.
Exactly. Well, I do thank you for coming on. You've been a true joy to talk to, and I appreciate all of your thoughts and words of wisdom. And for those listening, again, you can get the Ladies Roadmap Lifestyle Journal for 10% off and free shipping by using the code ROADMAP and the number 10.
Correct.
And you can find that at www.ladieSroadmap.com. And yes, I do have it written up there.
Thank you.
I
Thank
cheat.
you, CJ. Thank you so much. And thank you to all your listeners, and just keep on keep-oning. And I'm so glad that they're listening to podcasts, because I think it's a wonderful platform.
Oh, I totally agree. And like I said, it allows you to reach people you may not otherwise get a chance to reach.
That's right.
I wouldn't have run across you guys. I wouldn't have run across the journal itself and the idea. And so I do want to thank you guys so much. I thank both you and your partner, Lana, for putting it out there.
Thank you. Great. Well, have a great day.
Thank you. And thank you guys for watching and listening to The Journey is Real, where we talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. I'm CJ Peterson of cjpetersonwrites.com. Until next time.